So real quick, I just wanted to also show you this before we get into what our subject is and a little more on our subject is. Since the pandemic, look what's happened here. So these stats are from March, or when everything closed in March, and then these stats came out in May of last year. Multivitamin mineral supplementation purchases went up 60%. And you're talking about an $80 billion a year business. So that's a pretty big number, right? Vitamin C by itself went up 44%. Vitamin D went up 37%. That was May. Guess where it is today? 400%. Thanks to Dr. Fauci saying everyone should take a vitamin D supplement regardless of who you are, right? Well, guess what, guys? All of that's in a multivitamin and mineral. You really are 4-in-1. So we already did this lecture last time for you guys, the multivitamin mineral things. I'm going to show you how it applies to fat loss today before we get to the LeanMR. But the bottom line, I wanted you to realize that. But we are going to talk about, the protein thing. Well, protein's up 14%. Now that's a huge business. Also, that's about out that 80 billion. That's about a $20 billion business. Is protein powders. So it just tells you this is all due to the pandemic exploding it. And Zach, you set it up just right. People now are being proactive rather than reactive about nutrition. So I finally got my "I told you so" moment. So everybody's now taking care of themselves, and because obviously your immune system is 100% nutrition dependent all the way around. Okay, so very quickly, here's what we're talking about today. So here's this one slide's got everything on it. This is sort of your summary slide, all about LeanMR, which is the one product that you guys picked for today. But I'm going to put it, I need 12 minutes before we actually get to the product to kind of set you up on how it fits in to the world of weight loss all the way around. But the bottom line is this just explains it all to you. It's at the end as well. So if you had to print one thing out, this would be it. It's just a very highly palatable, very tasty addition to daily diet with the proper ingredients that manage weight loss. And this is a very special formula. So I'll wait till we get to it. But I just want you to know that that's the whole summary of it. All right, so let's just do this. You have to indulge me for 12 minutes, folks. And the reason this is, you might see a lot of content in the slides, but that's because we sent it to you as a download, so you can always refer back to it. But the bottom line is, number one thing we want to talk about is when we do anything for weight loss, and this being a weight loss product, I always like to start with, what do we do in weight loss? Well, the first thing we have to do is we have to support your structural and functional integrity during weight loss. That's the first thing. So no one escapes without taking a multivitamin mineral. No one. That is not negotiable. And then in order to finish that off, we need 1 gram per pound of protein for lean body mass to keep you from losing lean body mass, which is organs, bones, and muscle, all of it. You don't just lose, obviously it would be great if you just lost fat when you're dieting, but that's less than half of it sometimes. All right, and then we make the journey easier by adding things like LeanMR, okay? We can use that as your protein source too, so it can kind of double. So that's basically that. And this is our position on weight loss, meaning it's your position on weight loss as well, as we're partners in this, is that, we know people gain weight back, 95% gain it back. We know how hard it is, right? But that's why we make you move. That's why we have recommend exercise, and we put you on a diet program that supports a calorie deficit, right? But then that also takes your calories down and your nutrients down. So we've got to give you nutrients without calories. So to avoid loss of lean body mass, which is what happens when we take those calories down, that we have to supplement, right? So adequate protein, no matter what. And we know that appropriate supplementation does all of this. It fills your nutritional gaps to hang on to lean body mass, right? Because we're giving nutrients, we're feeding muscle, starving fat. It makes the workload easier. That'll avoid plateaus or you giving up. And you can increase daily energy expenditure without having to move more, and we can manage appetite. So those are the things supplements do, which is why we're so much successful. And I'm going to put a picture to that for you. When someone asks me, they say, hey, listen, should I supplement for weight loss? I go, well, if your goal is weight loss, numbers on the scale, I'll give you your choice, but you better beware. If you choose no, here's what's going to happen. You got a little bit of an upside. The numbers on the scale will go down faster, only in the beginning, the first 2 weeks. You might even lose 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pounds, okay? But we know that most of it's obviously going to be muscle and water. But number will go down fast because you're losing everything. You're losing lean body mass, you're losing fat, you're losing it all. So that's what the problem is, right? In fact, so everybody write this one number down here. For every pound of weight weight that you lose doing conventional dieting, that's all these famous diet centers that you watch on TV, or these diet books like paleo, these ketos, or every pound, at least 1/4 is muscle and up to a half of it is muscle. Now, not just muscle, lean body mass. That's bone, organs, that's everything. So there's that, and therein lies the downside. You're going to come to a plateau because you just got rid of the things that uses those calories. So now your body figured out how to live on what you're giving it, right? Now I got to reduce your calories. Greater loss of appetite. Now you got cravings. You start craving foods you never even liked before, right? Then, of course, you've got micronutrient shortages because we've dropped your calories, we've dropped the nutrients. And what happens then? Well, it's got to get rid of the things that store the micronutrients. So you're in bone, you got bone loss, you got muscle loss, you have less energies as your muscle and organs shrink, leading to decreasing activity. So you're getting lazier, your energy levels are down. And of course, you have a great chance of rebounding, which 95% of people do. Not in our world, that doesn't happen because you cannot sustain that low calorie intake for very long, period. Weight regain now comes back. Just smelling food, you get fat, okay? You're one of those kind of people. And not that, and then here, the final product is you're structurally and visually not really what you might have envisioned. You're a smaller version of your former self. We call it skinny fat. You have no tongue. All right, so come to my world. We lose body fat. So if you want to lose fat, then you have no choice. The answer is yes, you supplement, right? We're adding nutrients with little to no calories. The upside now is going to be exactly the opposite of this. We're going to preserve lean body mass, organ, bones, and I can actually put on lean body mass as well, right? And by not having to drop calories because I'm feeding muscle now, I can support your appetite and reduce the stress from dieting. I can gain muscle at the same time, depending on how experienced you are as an exerciser and how fast you want to go with weight loss. Can't do that over here, obviously. We can, and of course, we're going to maintain health, that micronutrient status, your vitamins and minerals. And don't forget, every single system in your body is vitamin mineral dependent. We'll look at that, just how that ties in. And that will improve your functional structural integrity. Your body composition is visually, generally what you're looking for. People call it tone. I want to tone up. That just means lose body fat around your muscle so you can see it. All right. It's generally more pleasurable to look at. All right. And it reduces the rebound potential. The downside, in the very beginning, you may not lose the number on the scale as fast as you want. I had to introduce body fat measurements to the gym back when we first started Gold's Gym in the 80s. We actually had to introduce body fat measurements because people would actually lose 3 or 4 pounds of fat and gain 2 or 3 pounds of muscle doing it our way. And they were just like, the number's not going down scale. Well, we've proven the body fat is going down faster than anything when it was all body fat. So again, you might not go down as fast in the beginning, but you're going to go down exactly where you want to. Let's put a picture to it. Take one of your clients, 170 pounds, wants to lose 50 pounds. All right, so with no supplementation, this is like we saw on the left side, without a doubt, 30 pounds will be body fat and 20 pounds will be lean body mass. That's if you go slow, okay? But we'll get you to the 120. If you stick with it, I'll keep dropping your calories. And you know what? You look fine. That's up to you. Any way you want, you look fine. Now let's go do it our way. You join True Fit. You're going to do it my way. You're going to lose 50 pounds. You're going to lose 46 pounds of body fat compared to 30. And probably put on 5 pounds of muscle depending on your age. Look different. And you know what? Maybe that's not what you want to look like, but that's not my point for doing that necessarily. Most people would probably like that. This is the thing. This person's going to rebound. There is pretty much no chance they're going to make it. This one's hooked on fitness. My job is to get you addicted to fitness. Now let's take a look at a guy that wants to lose 40 pounds. Same thing. They don't lose quite as much lean body mass because men have a little more testosterone than women. But you got a smaller version of yourself. There's your 40 pounds, 15 pounds of muscle, 25 pounds of fat. With support, 40 pounds of fat versus 25. Add 10 pounds of muscle, and you got quite a different look. And these are actually things that actually happen in real life, all of us. All right, and of course, you got the same thing. This person here is probably hooked on fitness. This one's going to rebound. Smaller version of themselves. Okay, I just wanted to show you those pictures. So what's job one? How do we do that? Bottom line is we make sure we have the right diet for weight loss, obviously. We like to lose a pound a week. We can go faster. I go 2, 3, depending on your schedule. And then we take a complete vitamin mineral and adequate protein. That's how we do just what you saw. I can do other things with some other stuff, but that is definitely what you need. So you've got the multivitamin and you've got your protein, right? And we're going to talk about LeanMR today, but you can use any of these proteins. You don't have to use LeanMR if they want to use something different. And you guys can, see that we're going to talk about LeanMR today. But I want you to understand this. Every human system, cardiovascular, energy, muscular, brain, central nervous system, immune system, skeletal system, every system is vitamin mineral dependent. You don't even start life without them, and you can't continue life without them, right? And if you get less than what your body can use, you get less results. So you get less fat loss results, you get less muscle gain results, you get recovery results, period. It's not like it's a trick equation, it's just what happens there. So, and this is how multivitamin mineral, that's why it's not negotiable. I'm not going to work with someone that's working at like 3/4 of what they could be working at, because this is how it contributes to faster, easier, and healthier, efficient weight loss. It improves energy levels, appetite, reduces diet stress, and the way your body uses energy, because every system is dependent. And here's, as we know, right here, everyone has gaps. So this is back in 2009. Everybody that does it from food alone, these are what your gaps. These are the known shortages back in 2009. The reason there's a point to this whole thing, the way people are dieting today. So that means anybody that is not taking a complete multivitamin mineral is in at least 5 of these categories, or maybe all of them. So you're working at that thing. But why now more than ever? This, and you guys all know this: paleo diets, ketos, vegan, gluten-free, intermittent fasting. These diets are killing our nutrient intake. So our dietitians around the world that use our program, they have these signs in their offices that shows them the missing nutrients from these diets. And they have to supplement these things, or they're compromising everything about their health. All right? So bottom line is, now, here's today. So now fast forward to 2020, look at the gaps. Way worse than they were back in 2009. These are our gaps from food now. And remembering all systems are vitamin mineral dependent, it's just stupid to tell people you can get all the foods you need within an acceptable number of, all the vitamins and minerals you need from within an acceptable number of calories that will keep you lean. First of all, it doesn't work with an unacceptable number of calories. So why would it work now? Right? So bottom line is, very quickly, if we transpose this thing right here, what we just saw, the facts, that means we're all functioning here. So here's our vitamin mineral intake, right? We need to get it all the way over here to the RDA, but we're right here with food alone. So 60 to 85% of vitamin mineral activity. So all systems are less than they can be. Everything is harder, right? It leads to all types of things. You don't feel it today, but it's been an insidious progression since day one, right? And it ends up with weight gain and stress, appetite's out of control, all these things, right? We need to get up here, right there. So first thing I do, I got to correct your food intake, and that's just simple multivitamin mineral, 25 cents a day. Really? You're going to argue about that to do this? And when I show this to an athlete, because we work with more athletes than probably anybody, right? That immediately they go, okay, I'm in. I can't function here. I'm making $20 million a year. I got to get into here. So of course, everything's much better. Everything works better. So at the end of the day, function of a lifelong, inexpensive, complete. So you got about 20 vitamins and minerals to offer the potential. So all vitamin mineral dependent systems operate at full capacity in the creation, maintenance of our structure, function, health, and recovery. So that's just job one. Maximize vitamin mineral activities to maximize fat loss mechanisms, including appetite. People that take complete multivitamin minerals don't have the same hunger problems other people do, because they're not craving the vitamins and minerals that they're missing. So keep that in mind. So that's it. You got a vitamin and you got your protein. That protein is going to save you money on groceries. That pays for your vitamin 100 times over. So keep that in mind. All right, let's get to LeanMR. So that was my 12 minutes of rant, okay? Because it always drives me nuts. I won't even work with these athletes that make them fortune, that pay us a fortune to take care of them. I won't work with them unless I know they're doing that for sure. Okay, now, LeanMR. All right, here we go. Bottom line is protein, how it contributes to weight and fat loss. So the mechanisms of action, we already know there's protein, obviously less necessary for your muscles. That's what builds our muscles. But so we want to preserve lean body mass. So protein intakes between 25 and 50% of your total calories. That's significantly more that's generally recommended, are the most successful for weight loss. So let's just keep that in mind. And we know it's safe now. We don't have any problems with that. But the other part is, by taking protein as that much of your diet, you're burning more calories. It takes significantly more calories to burn protein than it does carbohydrates or fat, right? So here you end up with, this is a great study that was done here, a 1,500 calorie diet that was between 30 and 36% protein. So it's not even as high as some of the ones we put people on versus what the RDA is of protein. Burn 213 calories more a day just from the food you're eating. That is a lot, folks. You add that up over time. That's huge. All right. Okay. And it also increases what we call fat oxidation, the burning of fat, because it shifts. When taking protein, it shifts when you're in a calorie deficit. Rather than pulling from carbohydrate from your glycogen stores or from muscle mass, it moves it to fat. And that's what we want. And that helps with our satiety. We're just less hungry with protein. Everybody knows that pretty much all the way around. And of all the proteins out there, guess what tests the best? Whey. It tests best in satiety, so fullness, the building of muscle. This is gram for gram, calorie per calorie. Whey protein blows them all away. And there's no argument anywhere in science about that, right? So fat oxidation, body composition, all of these things. All right. So because of that, that's the birth of modern day high protein based meal replacements. And you should know this, folks. More successful than any known treatment, drug or otherwise, for weight loss. Mind-boggling, huh? These are the original studies that show people using meal replacements with their regular diet. So it's incorporated 2 daily along with 2 regular meals a day versus diet alone. The diet alone is a dark bar. These are 6 different studies back in 2003. This is what pretty much launched the industry all the way around. You're looking at, overall, close to 2 times the weight loss here, but much more in some of these, like 9 times the weight loss in some of them. But more importantly, they followed up these people a year later. The people on meal replacements retained their results. The people that on diet alone did not. That was the beginning of it. Now look at meal replacements versus drugs and diet. Here is high protein diet alone this is like almost a 2-year study, right? So here's high protein diets alone. These are kgs, so double it for pounds, okay, everybody? Here is drugs, and drugs have nasty side effects. Remember that, drugs with the diet. Look at meal replacements with diet. Amazing, double the weight loss and the maintenance. So pretty crazy stuff here, guys, that we're working with. And we feel we spent a lot of time building this meal replacement, and we've upgraded it many times with all of the latest science all the way around. So it really does do something different than the other proteins we have. Now, you can use the other proteins for meal replacements. Don't worry about that. You can put in what you want with it to add it, whatever you want. But this one is pretty much pre-made to give you 180 calories, the best bang for the buck for fullness and getting through your day on a low-calorie diet. Okay, these are just what we did to build it. All of those mechanisms of action we just looked at, that's what we address with this. So the macronutrient profile, right? So the protein, fats, and carbs and the ratios are in accordance with the best potential weight control outcomes shown in clinical trials. Whey isolate, okay? So it's not even a whey concentrate, it's actually a whey isolate, which there's a reason for it because that takes out the cholesterol as well. None of our proteins, even though they're all whey, have any lactose, so you don't have to worry about that. That's all stripped out of all of them. Of course, there's 0 in this one here, isolate. The carbohydrate source, though, the importance of carbohydrate, you guys should remember this. You have to have some in here because there's a natural craving to carbohydrate. We can satisfy that without all of it being absorbed. So it's a sustained release carbohydrate over time, giving you energy, and some of it doesn't get absorbed. And when you add 7 grams of fiber, that keeps your stomach full at the same time. So that's what's very special about that grouping. And the dietary fat's extremely low in case you want to add some more of your own, like an MCT or something. Otherwise, leave it the way it is. But anyway, it's a great tasting addition to the daily diet. That's what we're trying to do all of these things: preserve lean body mass, satiety. This is going to be the #1 choice all the way around because the things it addresses all of the mechanisms of action of protein over here that we just looked at. How protein makes this all work? It does it the best. And then here are the numbers to it right here. And there's a good serving of calcium. You guys should make that note. It's a very good serving of calcium as well. We make sure we fortify all of our proteins with lots of calcium so people get it from their food rather than have to take a separate calcium supplement. Okay, here's how we integrate it. So you got your multivitamin, as you know, it's not negotiable. You take your LeanMR for 2 of at least 4 daily meals. You can do more if you want. They'll be all small, but you can do more if you want. So during the weight loss phase, until we get you to your goal, you're going to use 2 for sure. So you would start out maybe your breakfast with a LeanMR, and then maybe 11 or 12, you have a full regular lunch, chicken wrap, whatever you want. And then 2 or 3 in the afternoon, LeanMR, and I'll show you examples of this in a minute. And then you have your regular dinner, right? It's within your caloric allotment. So this opens up to a significant amount of regular food on top of this. And you're getting more nutrition, more bang for the buck. All right, so bottom line, during maintenance, hey, if you don't want to use anymore, don't. But I can promise you this, by using this, you're going to save yourself anywhere from $30 to $50 a month on groceries. And that's just a single person because of what you have to spend on protein to get gram per pound. You can use this the rest of your life like we all do. We don't use LeanMR, but I use First Strain, I'll use Way Smooth. Get our protein, and saves you a ton of money on groceries. And don't forget that mark there. So you can use it, you continue using it for 2 of your meals if you like, or 1 of your meals, or do whatever you want, as long as hopefully everything's under control. So that's the integration. If you had someone that was training very hard, don't forget, LeanMR is not a pre-post shake like Way Smooth or something, because it doesn't leave the gut fast. You don't want it to, you want it in the gut. So it's a meal replacement. So if you need a pre-post shake, you would just add amino boost and use that. There's almost no calories there. So if you got someone training hard or aggressive weight loss, this will help support lean body mass on top of what LeanMR does just naturally by raising your protein content. So that would be what you use pre-post right there. Now I put this number here, and one thing I want you guys to remember, okay, if for any of you that have trainers like a trainer like I was or like Rob was back in the day, or any of these, when someone comes to me and I'm going to work with them, I put them on a 12-week program. They immediately bring out the credit card and they buy all 12 weeks of supplements. Because if they don't, it means they're not committing to 12 weeks. It means you're not going to do it for 12. This is my package. This is how I get you to your goal. That's how you look the way I want you to look as far as holding on to muscle and everything else. So let's commit to that right now. So I always did the math for them. So I did this for you guys. 12 weeks, that's 2 meals a day. So think about where you're going to get 2 meals a day for this price. And that's for 12 weeks at $463. That includes your multi, and that includes your amino boost. Right? If you went to 1 meal a day with a LeanMR, it'd be $267. So I'm just giving you some stuff here that I would always break this out right there at my first meeting with everybody during that. So here's a place for any of you any of your trainers that aren't using our program with their client for any reason. This is up there in their trainer console. They can go right here and get these LeanMR packs and what you just saw here. This shows you LeanMR, a 1,500 calorie with LeanMR into it here. This is all from a .fit menu, but they're all, you can print them out and give it to them or just give them the link. Here's a 2,000 for bigger people losing weight, 2,000 with 2 LeanMRs worked into it here. And then here it is with amino boost there. So that's all available to you guys right off. Just click on any one of these. And you guys have this whole prezo, so you'll be able to click on it there and show your trainers that. And don't forget our recipe section. Very robust. LeanMR alone's got a ton, but there's ones for every single one of our different protein powders. So make sure that you send the customers to these recipes. These are very cool. We add a couple every single month, some really nice ones. So it's a full program right there with your LeanMR. So quick little summary dialogue here. I always call this packaging as a commitment, like I just discussed, to your program. So supplementing properly is your best tool to helping turn 12 weeks of work into 6. I would always ask my client, how fast you want to go? You want to go slow? You want a little more pain? We'll do it this way. You want to turn 12 weeks of work into 6 and go fast and feel good about it, including better daily and weekly physical outcomes? That will continue to motivate and completion, and until I finally get you addicted to fitness. That's what my goal is all the way around, versus the downside that comes with weight loss attempts that lead to giving up or a weaker structure, right? Thus, feeding muscle while starving fat by incorporating nutrients with little to no calories changes the journey to a positive one that builds on every day. So instead of less energy and less muscle, you have more of both, which by itself speeds results. It's a whole different world doing it our way, the holistic approach all the way around. All right, so I put this as just that number here. So if you were going to do a 90-day package of LeanMR with the multi and give them 20% off, because that's what most people do in this, $416, 180 meals, right? And then the wholesale cost on that's $295. So you're making a significant margin there. That's with 20% off, obviously. Okay, and then of course, if you want now, let's say they didn't want to use LeanMR for whatever reason. You can do it $269 with Way Smooth, because that's like twice the protein, right? But you're not getting the same, sort meal replacement type, but you can add anything you want to Whey Smooth to kind of get it there. $269 for the same thing, 12 weeks. Pre-post would be $359, best plant protein, $335 for exactly the same thing. So I just kind of put that number down there for you. Just some stuff there. All right, so I got a couple notes before we open up the questions. Just so people, these are just typically frequently asked questions and notes. So for your information here, these are the cofactors and sweeteners, and they're identical in these. LeanMR, Whey Smooth, first string, the pre-post meal replacement, and a pre-workout formula use the same cofactors, including sweeteners. Of course, all those cofactors and sweeteners are food products, so they are FDA approved. So again, these are all food products. So and those, because these strategic ones, they have functional properties that make the foods safe, right? It enhances the safety, the stability, and uniformity, which means that the amino acids are all even throughout the powder rather than kind of getting shifted throughout it. That's why you have to have these things in powder. And cookability, if you will. I don't even know if that's a word, but in other words, you can bake, you can use with a lot of protein powders you can't bake with, they become toxic. These things make it so you can. That's huge, right? And of course, reduce sugars and everything that's in it. That's why there's no numbers on the containers. They just call them out. They're a minute amount. So virtually, what they're called, inert. They don't go into the body at all. They're just there to make the product work better. These are the two sweeteners to give us that the lower calorie, right, with the very rich sweetness. But most importantly, these can be cooked with. Other sweeteners cannot be cooked with. All right. And these are just some of the things that make it so it emulsifies the product. These are things that are in every powder you buy in the store, whether it be muffins, whether it be a cake mix, whether it be flour. These things are all in it, or they don't work. Okay, so here's some common FAQs. So why do you use artificial sweeteners? All right, so let me just set this up for you first right here. Immediately, you say, listen, if you know this person's dead set against it because they're part of that sort of conspiracy theory group, right? Just make sure you turn them over to all natural Whey Smooth. We have unflavored pre-post, unflavored Whey Smooth as well, and we have best plant protein. None of these have artificial sweeteners, artificial flavors, artificial color, or anything. So, I learned many years ago that never get between a mother bear and her cub. So if you've got a person that for some reason thinks artificial sweeteners cause cancer or any of these things, you just got to let it go here. But the reason I'm going through this FAQ for you, because you're fitness professionals. So even though everyone, and I tell everybody this, I've been saying it since I was in my 20s, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, right? And I respect that. So if your opinion is this, you think that, artificial sweeteners down airplanes or cause wars, okay, I got you. And you have your opinion, but you are not entitled to your own facts. And unless you're an expert, you shut the hell up and don't be telling people bad information, because here's the facts. Better. Why do we use them? Because they're better and healthier than sugar, and they are FDA approved, right? So that's period. Better taste, continue to improve fitness results. Otherwise, they won't keep using it, right? Higher nutrition per calorie. That's the obvious one, right? And sweetness to support desired body composition. I can't just put sugar in it and raise the calories back up. And of all of the sweeteners out there, sucralose tests the very best when it comes to weight management. That includes any kind of natural sugar. It supports blood sugar. It's approved for diabetics. Guess what's not? Natural sugar's not. Decreased risk of adverse reactions, common with natural sweeteners. The only complaints we get are from our all natural products because they use natural sweeteners. People are allergic to natural. Pollen is natural. Peanuts are natural. Shrimp is natural. These are the things that cause allergic reactions and put people in hospitals. Lactose is natural. These are natural sugars, guys. So that's why every scientist scoffs at what other people say about this stuff here, right? And it supports weight control, obviously, rather than a contributor. By the way, here are all the studies here. And it's approved for children. Well, guess what's not approved for children? Added sugar is not approved. All right? And those are natural added sugars. So, and again, this just tells you all of these are all the studies there that support what we have here. So one of the common myths, natural is better. I always laugh at this whole thing. The myth is, okay, artificial sweeteners cause cancer and other health problems. The fact, this is from a lecture that I do actually, they don't. But natural sweeteners, they replace mine. There's the studies that show that natural people that drink sugar-sweetened beverages cause cancer, all kinds of things. Natural. All right, and natural doesn't always mean healthy or safe. We know that. You just haven't thought about it. Natural food allergies kill people. They sicken, they add, and added sugars cause obesity, tooth decay, and diabetes. Non-nutritional sweeteners, which are what we've just talked about, artificial sweeteners, are none of the above. What do you see on foods, folks? You don't see this on our shakes, right? Hours in the morning, dairy, peanuts, tree nuts, shellfish, eggs, fish, soy, wheat, this here. You don't see it on artificial sweetener products, but you do see it if it happens to be made in a facility that does any of these things. That's it. These are all natural. These are all natural and is on every single food package, right? So again, natural ingredients in foods and adverse reactions range from mild to hives and itching, like we'll hear once in a while when someone taking stevia, to severe ER visits or emergency room visits, death, and anaphylactic shock. Okay, these are the things that happen. And we all know that from bee stings and other things as well. So look here, you end up with these warnings. Drinking beverages with added sugars contributes, added sugars, that's natural, by the way, contributes to obesity, diabetes, and tooth decay. You do not see that on artificial sweetener products. So just giving you all that. Here's all the studies down here, just so you have the latest, greatest. Last one I got here, soy listed in the powders. Just a common question we get. Hey, I notice you have soy, but it's lecithin. That's the part they don't notice. Amino boost and protein powders say contain soy. That again is what you have to do. And soy is natural, of course, we know that. But there is no soy protein in any of our protein powders, including LeanMR, including all of them, no soy protein in this. Soy lecithin, but in minute amounts, immeasurable, so you really don't have much in there. That's why there's no number on there, how much is in there. It's an emulsifier. It's in all of your muffin mixes, cake mixes also. Everything contains soy, or it's just not going to mix. And it helps with the uniformity. Like almost all powders sold everywhere, it is non-allergenic. So if you have a soy allergy, this isn't going to cause it because it's from the fat in a minute amount. It's not a soy protein, which causes the allergies in people. So this is from the FDA website about soy lecithin, approved food additive, proper emulsification, all that, right? And it does not trigger normal soy allergy. So again, nothing to worry about. It just has to be on there based on legal things, but it's minute and it will not trigger an allergy in normal soy. People have soy allergies. And then I put this little last thing on here for you is this. Why not fit powders? Because people will say, well, how come yours costs more than I can buy at CVS? I know you guys have we've showed you that before a million times. All the mass market products they're not third-party tested, so they protein spike. You think you're getting 24 grams, you're getting 2.4 grams of protein. And as a fitness professional, as long as you're working with me, you got to work with something I trust. So I know that protein's in there, so I'm getting the results daily that you should be getting. You've got to get those results. I can't let you go to the mass market and buy your protein. I already know what that answer is. They all got busted, and that's this part right here. So even though we're competitively priced, any noted higher costs is because we have ended up, the protein spiking. As we saw that 5 years in a row, all these biggest manufacturers in the world were spiking. I think Rob put up a slide here for you. Yeah. So here's one of them right here, right? Look at this. This is one of 20,000 different ones out there. They were claiming, this is what their claim was, 24 grams of protein, 2 grams of carbs. It was 2.5 grams of protein. They got away with this for 5 years. So, and that's about 2,000 different brands got caught. So that can't happen because we're third-party tested, which is very expensive to add that cost. So we don't have much margins in ours. And then the other thing, don't forget, mass market powders. Guess what, Mrs. Jones? If you want to go buy your protein in mass market, again, I can't trust it because I can't test it. But if you do, this comes with me. It comes with a fitness professional. So everything is connected all the way around. I guarantee that the clerk at CVS or Walmart is not going to take you through a workout and integrate these things properly. So again, got lots of reasons why it might be a couple bucks more, but well worth it. As long as they're working with you, they just got to keep the whole thing whole. And then of course it's also synergistic. There's no we don't add other things so that you get too much of something where other protein powders add all kinds of weird stuff to it. But and another big one here for all of you, first of all, you'll never find LeanMR anywhere for sure. But the protein mix cofactors we just looked at is perfect for baking and cooking. So pancakes, cookies, breads, muffins, where many protein powders cannot pull that off for you. Okay, so there you go. And you guys know all the protein powders we have here, all the different ones we just mentioned. I put this in so you have it in your deck. The unsweetened ones here. And then that's it. Okay, your turn.